Before we get into today's episode, a note on our content. While we strive to provide a show that could be listened to by as many people as possible, this episode in particular was created for adult audiences only. We advise listeners' discretion as we...
Okay. We've heard this all before. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit spicier than a normal episode. It's Jer we're talking about here. Now, look, we never get some one-on-one time, okay? Look, I'll cut it to you straight. I've been looking at this Jurassic Park life-size T-Rex head. Only 18 grand. We've got this little thing called Patreon. If you want to make a little boy's dreams come true, patreon.com/theunmentionables. That's the place. I love you.
Did you seriously just mute me?
Look,
during my
you always get the boring shit. They've heard it before. I'm trying to spice things up a little bit. Sue me. What else do you want?
Okay, I'm trying to keep us from getting sued with your little potty mouth. What did you tell them?
I'm just cutting straight to the point. You just dib-dab around everything.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why I'm having you back on. Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Unmentionables. I'm your host, Connor, and joining me once again...
It's your boy.
It's the one and only Jeremy. Jeremy, don't make me regret this.
Never. Ratings from last episode were so high, you practically fucking begged me.
Last time we finished our episode, you gave me a little bit of feedback. You said, hey, I know I'm your funniest friend, but, I am also capable of doing these serious conversations like you're having with the other hosts. And because I didn't want you to feel left out, I thought I would do a serious conversation with you.
We're getting real serious today, folks.
I just came up with a series of questions, and I wanted you to also come up with a series as well. I hope you did your homework.
I did.
Awesome.
Rarely can I say that.
The first thing I wanted to ask you, and again, if this is a little bit too personal, you don't have to answer. In a situation where you are stuck in a room full of spiders, would you rather have the lights on or lights off if you're going to be sitting in there for a prolonged period of time?
How many spiders are we talking?
Well, you wouldn't know unless you had the lights on.
Fuck, okay. That's, very true. I think this is a deeper question than just spiders.
Okay.
Do you want to have the upfront, honest truth, or do you want to kind of be masked in this blanket of naiveness? And I'm a pretty upfront. I would love to see how many spiders we got cranking in there. Now, is this just like a hypothetical number of spiders that you don't even... Oh my God, I just fucking almost fell out of my chair. What kind of spiders are we talking here?
You won't know unless the lights are on.
Okay, the lights are off. Are the spiders... I'm feeling around. Are the spiders big?
They're not tiny. They're definitely spider-sized. And there is a lot of them.
In the hundreds. Again, lights are off. Yeah, I would flip those lights on and I'd fucking deal with it. How long am I in this room for?
They put you in the room. They don't tell you when you're going to get out. They say lights on or lights off.
Yeah, lights on.
See, I feel like spiders are misunderstood. I feel like if you just lay down and put yourself in a meditative trance with the lights off, you can just kind of wait it out and they'll crawl all over you, sure, but they're not going to bite you or anything.
I work in crawl spaces and attics. I don't mind spiders one bit. A lot of people don't fuck with spiders. I like spiders. They get rid of all the other shit you don't like. The flies, the mosquitoes, the annoying insects. And there's a lot of spiders that are really, really pretty. I like spiders. Now, do I want to be covered in spiders? No. If I'm going to hang out with the spiders, I at least want to see if they're pretty or not.
I would choose lights off.
You would choose lights off.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You're more of I don't want to see the issue that arises in front of me type.
In this specific situation, yeah, I think that
that issue is an enclosed space with 10,000 spiders.
I know that there's a problem here, but I want to keep myself calm, and I won't be able to stay calm if I'm seeing, 20,000 Black Widows. But if the lights are off, what's the difference between a black widow and a huntsman spider? You know, there's no difference. I just know that there's a bunch of spiders.
Well, Huntsman's like fucking gigantic,
Yeah, but they're friendly.
I guess. I mean, black widows are scared. They're scaredy cats. They don't want any trouble. I've got a newfound love for them, actually. We're playing this game called Grounded. Complete sidetrack conversation here, but
No worries. I love extra work.
you I've got one for you now.
A serious question.
This is yes, it's very serious. This is kind of tying to a little bit more like philanthropist style work, and I know you are a sweetheart deep down. Would you rather every time you see a homeless person, you have to stop what you're doing and give them $20, or every time you see a hitchhiker, you have to stop what you're doing and take them to their desired destination?
Okay, couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, is the first scenario assuming that I always have $20 cash?
God, Jess, what did I tell you he was going to say? The same thing you said. Oh, what if I don't have $20 cash? The first thing he asked. $20 immediately gets pulled from your checking account and a $20 bill gets put into your hand.
Okay, perfect. In the second scenario, it's any hitchhiker and I just ask them, hey, where are you headed? And they say, I'm headed here, and I have to take them to that location.
Correct. Like your day is now completely shifted. You are taking that person wherever it is they need to go.
Does it count if I see the homeless person on TV?
This is only in person, and it's not a matter of, you can close your eyes, but you're also driving in both situations most of the time. You are just forced to, like, right. You have no other option. It's not like, did someone see me see that person? It's immediate.
Okay, so there's a couple lines here. One, I don't think that I see many hitchhikers these days. So I could choose that option just because it's pretty rare that you come across a hitchhiker. Whereas I see a good number of homeless people every time I go to Walmart or, any busy intersection. So I feel like that would get expensive. Yeah,
you see an encampment, they're outside, they're camping, not by choice, but they're there. Oh, look, there's 10 of them. That's $200.
Well, I would definitely start adjusting my route to avoid the homeless encampments. But
I don't know what roads you have. You're going towards the interstate, happen to see one. Well, you're going to be late to work, can't make lunch with your mom, date night is ruined. I mean, you could meet a really, really cool person, but let's say oh, I'm hitchhiking all the way down to LA. You're like, oh no, you're fucked.
Originally, I was thinking that I would give homeless people money, but after I've considered it more, I actually think I would roll the dice with hitchhikers. While one, yes, it could be super detrimental to my day or week or life, it could also be an equally exciting experience that I'll have a really cool story about. Like that time that I took that hitchhiker all the way from Washington to LA.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a little bit sketchy. I am a white male, so
the cards are stacked against you, yeah, from the start. I mean, it comes down to what your time is worth,
Well, I think all of our time is like pretty limited in the grand scheme of things. And
this brings us to today's sponsor, YouTube Premium.
Yeah, no.
What is your time worth? I think I'd have to agree with you. I see many homeless people every day, $20 every single time I see one. Not to say that it's like a bad thing to donate to humans. I'm all for it, but
I also don't mind giving homeless people money. It's purely the fact that I don't know if I could afford it considering how many homeless people I see. And also the chances of me seeing a hitchhiker is so much lower that I think overall financially, if you're just looking at it that way, it's better. And the chance of me getting murdered is like super low.
It's kind of a thing.
I want to take it a little deeper now because I know that you want to get really personal on the podcast and kind of show the listeners who you are as a person. And so I wanted to ask you, firstly, what is your sleep schedule like? Are you pretty good at getting your full 8 hours, or do you feel well rested when you wake up most of the time?
I do. I sleep a good amount. Now, my schedule is a little different than the normal, usually 2 or 3 in the morning, but damn, do I love to sleep in. I think that I get some damn good sleep.
Do you think you oversleep? Like, do you think you're wasting part of your day?
It depends on your active hours and your commitment to like when you want to stay awake. We're recording this at 9 p.m. You know, a lot of people are, getting towards bed at this point. Melatonin, that shit is diabolical. Sometimes that hurts me. Get it waking up. For the most part, no, I don't think I oversleep. I get a good decent like between 7 and 8.
What about your diet? How's your diet?
Could be better.
Would you say that you eat a pretty nutritious diet and it's well balanced, getting all your vitamins, minerals?
I think so. I don't take many supplements, but I had beef lo mein tonight.
Ooh.
So, pretty shitty.
So, would you rather be able to sleep for 1 hour and be perfectly rested, or every meal that you eat, no matter what it is always nutritious, like the perfect balance of nutrition for you?
Easy. Done.
Easy.
1 hour of sleep. 1 hour of sleep is not even close.
Really?
You think, oh yeah, like they give you 8 hours. They say 8 hours every day. I don't know who the fuck they are, but they say 8 hours, right? That extra 7 hours, I can meal prep. I can go to the gym, work on my health. I'll stop by Vitamin Cottage or Whole Foods and get some supplements. That's 7 hours every day. Screw my sleep schedule. I'll take a nap on my lunch break. And now I don't have to sleep when I've got time when I get home to do whatever I want. Yeah, that's an easy one. I know where you stand on time.
Where do I stand on time?
You have to agree with me. You you love that shit.
I love time. Me and time, we go way back.
You tell me that you wouldn't agree with me there. I doubt you would disagree.
So here's the thing. I will eat roughly 2 cheeseburgers minimum a week, and I know that's not good for my cholesterol. Imagine eating a bacon cheeseburger with 2 gigantic onion rings on top, smothered in barbecue sauce and 4 cheeses,
Sold.
tater tots, 3 different kinds of sauces, all salty, vinegary deliciousness, pounding a triple chocolate brownie with ice cream on top. You eat all of that, and I would feel like absolute shit, but I would go to bed for 1 hour and feel fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. Getting an extra 7 hours a day would just make my life so much better.
That was really thought-provoking, and you took the time in running that one up, and I appreciate that. This one is less so. Would you rather have skin made of sandpaper or live in a bag of milk?
What?
Now, the sandpaper, you obviously don't have nerves because it's sandpaper. So your loss of feeling, total loss of feeling.
How big is this bag of milk? Is it enough to fit me?
Yes. The bag of milk is a bodysuit, goes over your feet all the way around. It is not like a man in the bubble type situation, but it stops at your neck. So it doesn't restrict you from eating, drinking that you would with sandpaper. This is obviously talking, hey, we're just going to discount the skin on your tongue. Your tongue is the same, so you can eat and drink in either situation. But the bag of milk is about, I'd say 3 inches from your skin, and it covers all your fingers and toes all the way up to your neck. You are just sloshing around.
Do I have to replace the milk inside? Like, does it expire?
Never. No. It stays perfectly. It was like it just came out of a tit. It is perfect from day one as it is up until now. You piss and shit inside of the bag, and it magically disappears.
Okay. Can I take the bag off?
Never.
How would I, if I wanted to, reproduce?
You don't.
In
either situation. for obvious reasons.
Well, why wouldn't I mean? I could hump a tree, like.
Yeah, it's true. That tree would get real smooth.
I feel like there's the capitalist inside of me could find some use for the sandpaper skin.
Right.
Like I'd be the magical sandpaper guy. Go to your house and I'd stop, drop, and roll, and now your flooring is silky smooth.
It's true. And you have the ability to change the grit of the sandpaper.
Okay, so neck down is milk.
Correct.
A bag of milk.
It is
but
a plastic,
head up is not.
Plastic see-through bag of milk. So you just like,
how bulky is it? Can I wear clothes over it?
It's 3 inches. You absolutely can wear clothes over it because I wouldn't expect you to walk around as a naked sandpaper man.
I think this question's harder than it seems because in either of these situations, your life looks completely different than what it does now. So there's really no frame of reference. Like I could choose the bag of milk because it's closer to what I'm doing now.
I mean, you're not catering to our listeners that are either sandpaper men or men in bags of milk, but I see what you're saying. The norm, the great majority of which who are not dealing with said things.
Thanks
yeah,
for the
I get what you're saying. Yep.
I would choose. Does it look like sandpaper?
Yes. More importantly, it feels like sandpaper.
I choose sandpaper skin.
Okay.
What do you choose?
I would choose bag of milk. I would choose bag of milk. Yeah. Sandpaper, there's many things that I cannot do with said sandpaper.
So it's all about sex.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not going to have feeling in either one of them. I at least want the ability to be softer than I would be more aggressive.
Well, I mean, you're just wearing sandpaper skin. You could wear soft clothing on the outside, but you have this 3-inch body layer of milk separating you from your clothes.
This is a good point. You've convinced me otherwise. I now choose sandpaper man.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a decent one.
Okay, imagine this.
Imagining.
How's your imagination? Pretty good?
I would say so.
Okay, so I would like our listeners and my co-host to close your eyes unless you're driving or operating heavy machinery in any way.
Listen to the man.
Otherwise, just imagine that you're closing your eyes. There's a knock at your door and you're like, oh my God, it must be Amazon because it's the Amazon time of day. You open the door and lo and behold, there's an Amazon box on the ground. You open the box, this mysterious package, and in it you find a handheld device with a big red button on it. With the device, there's an accompanying instruction label that reads, you may push this button once per week. If you do, a person that you will never meet or come across will instantly poop their pants. Are you with me so far?
I am.
You push the button once a week, somebody poops their pants.
That's funny.
Next week, if you push the button, that same person poops their pants. It's the same person every time.
It's the same person, but the label said that a random person is just
It is a one random person in the world.
Okay, so there's already a massive benefit to me pressing this button.
Well, it's the same person, so I guess it really depends.
That's hilarious.
Also, if you were incentivized before, because of the obvious ethical dilemma there, the device also prints you $100 of your local currency.
Just whenever I press the button to make someone shit themselves.
You press the button, this person that the machine is magically tied to makes them poop their pants, and then $100 pops out of this machine.
Are you asking me if I press the button?
Oh, no. I think everybody knows what you would do
I would easily
every week on the moment, right?
Every single week like clockwork.
Yeah. So my question for you is, would you rather have a 50-50 shot of pooping your pants every single week? So you got a coin flip chance every week at a random moment, you may poop your pants. Or you have to sign a deal with the devil that they are going to send out a mysterious package with that red button, and you are the person it's magically tied to. And you have no idea who's going to receive it.
Okay, it's 2 questions. First question being, does the week start on like a Monday, or is it like 1 week from the last time I shit myself 50-50?
No, it is 1 week, like Monday to Sunday.
Okay. So I've got a 50-50 chance of sometime every week to shit myself at a random time.
Yep, completely random.
Or that mysterious box that I would imagine anyone would press because that's awesome gets sent out to a stranger.
Totally random person in the world receives that button, and it's magically tied to you.
Now, are they going to press that button on a specific time if they're going to?
I don't know.
Or whenever they decide to press that button during the week?
They may press that button once a week, and it will print off $100 of their local currency, and you will shit your pants.
I would like to think there are more nice people in the world than evil people. I would love to give that power to a stranger because I'm either going to be set for life or I'm going to shit my pants every week. But the 50-50 is the worst of both. I'd rather it just be shitty or not shitty. I don't want it to maybe be shitty. I would go with giving it to a stranger.
Even though you know that every time you shit your pants, some random person is getting paid to do it.
Yes, I'd like to think that the person that I'm shipping this box to, whomever it will be, would think about me in that moment, even though I would have not thought about them, and chose not to make me poop myself. But, that person's going to be one holding the box. So I'll just make a life adjustment, and I'll start bringing extra pairs of pants, knowing, hey, that first time it happens, I'm like, well, I got a fucking swell individual, someone I'd probably want to hang out with. But I'll just, I'll have to work with it. Whereas, the 50-50, it's like, I don't want to be carrying around pants if it's, 3 weeks in a row I'm carrying around pants and I'm not pooping,
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I choose the same, but I broke it down kind of more like mathematically.
Oh, of course.
So it's like 50-50 shot, right? So every other week I'm going to shit myself on average, but it's totally random and you never know when it's going to happen. And I could go a month without shitting myself.
The same amount of times you could shit yourself every week.
And then shit myself 3 weeks in a row. Right. So even though it's a 50-50, it doesn't actually break down that way. Versus the other one, the very worst case scenario for me is that, I have to wear Depends every week.
Right. And it would add to your ass because you don't have like the thickest ass ever. So like if anything, that's a plus.
Actually, I've been putting on a little bit of butt weight recently, according to Alexa.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah. The worst case scenario with a button is actually you find somebody who presses the button and then they feel really bad about it and they lock it up in their attic for a really long time. They're like, I'm never going to push that again. That was so terrible. But they're actually low income and they're having this internal fight with themselves. And so every once in a while, only when they need it, do they push the button.
Then they're in financial turmoil and they're like, this week's tight. Looks like Jeremy's shitting. All right, this one's a little less shitty. It's a little bit more deep. Would you rather have all of your needs and wants met, but you're never truly happy? Or considerably struggle more than the average person to meet those needs and wants, but you are truly happy leading your life?
I think it's a pretty obvious happiness, right?
Because it's not like it would be immediate, right? You choose, let's say you choose the first, and you have access to anything you want or need that is like, I need a water bottle, bam, it's in your hand. I want a Lambo. I want a second Lambo, so my first Lambo's not lonely, that kind of thing.
But I'm guaranteed to not be happy, right?
you will, in 6 months from now, you'll have nothing that you're working towards, and you will inevitably like find zero joy in life.
I think one of the main driving factors of life for somebody like me who's not trying to reproduce, who's not trying to build a nuclear home, buy a house, live in it for the next 30 years, go up the corporate ladder. For somebody like me, I am just trying to maximize my happiness. And I think I could struggle way harder than I struggle now and still want to be happy. It's the one thing that you can't, as far as all your needs and wants, if you can't be happy, then I think that it's all kind of frivolous, right?
What is it all worth? Exactly. At that point, it just comes down to what it's all worth. And it's an easy one, but it definitely gets you thinking a little bit about, the tangible side of the things everyone dreams of in their own little way. But if you're unhappy, then what are those things worth?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that I've met a lot of people who struggle more than I do, a significant number of people, and they're happy. And so if I imagine struggling worse than them, which is kind of hard to do, I'm very privileged to not have experienced a lot of the worst sides of life. But even if I did struggle really heavily, if I could be happy, then I think it kind of takes away from the situation that you're put in. I think being able to guarantee my happiness, I think that's one of the most valuable things that I could have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that goes without saying. I just wanted to make you think a little bit, put in perspective. It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen, and thems. It's all about putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
That was a good one. I assume you would choose the same thing, right?
Oh yeah.
I liked where you went with the life and the world and this philosophical outlook question. And I wanted to kind of delve a little deeper. But first, do you find yourself content with the world that you live in? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you rather live in the world as it currently stands? Or do you think you would prefer to live in a world where everyone must tell the truth? Do you think the world would be better?
That's tough. Because, I said earlier that I think that the majority of people in this world are good people, but that doesn't mean that they're truthful people. There's a lot of times where niceness doesn't always have to be honesty. Do I think that the world would be a better place if everyone was honest? Yes, but I don't think that it would be as nice.
That's a really good way to put it. I also agree that it wouldn't be as nice. Well, I guess it could be, right? Like there would be a natural adjustment where you would only ask questions that you're understanding. You may not get the answer that you want. I think that everything would be a little bit more blunt, but I don't think it would necessarily be less nice.
Right. Yeah. It would be more blunt, in situations like, you're curving your comments more because you don't have that out. I see my cousin's kid, she just had her baby, and I'm like, oh my God, that is an ugly baby. I don't have to say that, but of course you see a baby, oh my God, it's a tiny person, so cute. That would be me being nice. Whereas like now I have to just say, wow, that's a baby.
So what do you choose?
That was me fighting speaking on the cons of it. Do I think the world would be a better place?
Which would you rather live in?
I would rather live in the truthful world. I'm really, really bad at keeping secrets. I'm really, really bad at lying. The white lies, those are easy, but I think that us as like a world would be so much better off with people in positions. If you want to get, like political, I guess, like they're forced to be truthful. That would be massive. Your friends, we wouldn't have to be, beat around the bush on why they're flaking. They just say, hey, I don't want to hang tonight. That would be easy. I think that honesty is a huge factor to happiness. So yeah, I'm going back and forth right now in my head, but I would have to say that I would rather live in a world where lying is non-existent than one that has dishonesty.
I think that I agree, and I think there is some inherent value and equity in lying, even if you're not doing it to the detriment of anybody. Like you can find value in lying and make the world a better place through lying, right? Technically.
Right.
But I think just it gets too messy where everybody has their beliefs of what's good, what's bad. And if it was just all out there on the table, I think that, you know, a lot of the corruption that we face, a lot of the different ideologies of what people believe, you know, it all comes to the surface. I also would rather live in a world with no lying, even though it means that you can't do any kind of facetious jokes anymore, which is one of my favorites. These just dry jokes that
love 'em.
nobody can tell if you're actually joking or not.
So good.
Yeah, you got one more for me?
I do. Where are we? Porn. Would you rather? Would you rather never age, but you live in a very forever religious world that would consider you a witch, so you must move frequently, not have any lasting connections with people, both for the reason of them aging and dying, but also because people will recognize you and burn you alive after so many years? Hey, why haven't you aged? You are not immortal though. So you know, freak accident happens, you're dead. Or be reborn a different person at the end of your life, but never hold memories of your past lives. You also come back 1 inch shorter every single time. You have the same capacity of learning and will essentially be the same person in a different body, but you'll have to relearn everything. Freak accidents result in a new life. You're reborn 1 inch shorter. So eventually you're going to be this like 2.5 foot little munchkin running around. Thoughts?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
Uh-huh.
In the second scenario, do I remember my past lives?
Never.
And how long does this go on for?
Ever.
So what happens when eventually I get down to being less than 1 inch tall?
You then would die.
Like forever.
Correct.
Okay, and then what happens after death?
That's a whole other thing we got to unpack. That's another episode.
I would choose the other one. Well, that was very specific. I would choose to be reborn an inch shorter because the other one sounds like it's an absolute hell loop the entire time I'm alive. Whereas the other one, I mean, being short isn't that bad.
Right.
And you don't remember any of these other lives.
Just know that you will be like significantly like weirder every single time you come back. So you wouldn't want to like Age of Adeline that thing where she lives forever, doesn't age, but she has to like move around a ton, kind of like change her social security number, get new IDs, lie to people, not have a life.
That just does not sound
You would
like
rather
fun.
be reborn as a freshie.
Yeah. I mean, that could be what we're doing right now.
You will eventually be 6 inches tall, and that is only the thing that people will know you for.
We could be living in that world right now where we would have no way to know, right?
Yeah, but it would also have no impact on us.
Yeah, but our lives are pretty good, right? Like, I would rather have my life right now than whatever the first scenario that you offered. That sounds terrible. Even if it meant getting all this knowledge and watching the world rise and fall, who cares about a world that's rising and falling if they're always out to get you and there's nothing you can do to sway them?
Right. Okay.
What do you choose?
I would have to agree with you on that. It would be cool. I'm very happy with who I am as a person. I think the biggest thing when I was thinking of this question was at some point in my forever life after I've, moved countries the 60th time is I would get bored. And I think the reason why we keep going in life is a big part of it is there's so much new that we haven't found yet or experienced that if I lived forever, it would get boring. Life would get dull, especially if I couldn't share it with people. And having a fresh start, even though I'm going to be a little lollipop guild man, would be awesome because I get to re-experience the simple things of, wow, that ice cream place is awesome. You know, like that is, those are the parts of life that matter.
See, no, I want to push back a little bit there, because I think that let's get rid of the negative side of the first scenario. Let's just say you live what's a really long number that's conceivable to like the human mind. Let's say you live what?
It's like 1,500 years.
Yeah, 1,500 years. Let's say you live 1,500 years, or you reincarnate. The theory of reincarnation is real. Like, what would you prefer?
If living 1,500 years was normal and everyone else, like there was no negative, like I had to move around and like, you know, be worried about.
Well, they just don't hate you for nobody knows, right?
I think, well,
You just
reincarnation
blend
is
in
always
with-
going to be a larger number. You know, that's always going to be, that's 15 lives. On my 16th reincarnation, I'd be like, wow, you know, and that's if I'm, you know, really pushing it at 100 years. I would probably take the reincarnation, but 1,500 years, I would take the reincarnation purely because after 1,500 years, I would be really, really bored and I would want something new, which is death.
Right, but isn't that at that point, wouldn't that be something you'd be excited for?
Yes.
So that's like its own adventure, and that's similar to how we are now. Whereas,
I guess, but after year 700, I would be fucking over it.
No
I'm only
way.
halfway through.
yeah, I disagree there. I think I'd be really excited about getting to live through history and see all of these different things, watching the creation of these gigantic monuments and getting. I mean, if we're just assuming that you don't age and you don't have to worry about like physical or chronic illness or anything, I think I would rather do that, live 1,500 years and then not know what happens after death, than live a life knowing that the theory of reincarnation is real. And so like having that like good warm feeling of, oh, if I die, I'm just going to be reborn and I may be an inch shorter or taller. Like I'd rather just have one 1,500 year long life and then cease to exist without knowing what happens next.
Right. No, I see that as a positive. I totally get that. I think that the joy of experiencing things for the first time is greater than 1,500 years in the same life where nothing is new except for death.
But there would be new stuff, right?
I don't know. After 1,500 years, man, like they're, I don't know. What? Okay, if you were to live to 1,500, at what age would you want to stop aging?
Like 1,100.
No, like in
I
like
know.
fucking dust.
Give or take, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a decent number.
I
Yeah.
don't know, like 30.
I think 30. You're saying that you're still on the up.
I think that 30 is a good age where people start respecting you. Even like older people start respecting you at 30. Young people definitely think that you're, you know, old enough. And I mean, back 1,500 years ago, you would be an elder by that point if you're 30 years old.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
So yeah, I say 30. What about you?
I think I would probably say even a little older than that.
I could totally, I'd rather be older than younger than 30.
Yeah, because I mean, in your 20s, you definitely don't have that respect that you would want for if you were going to live to be 1,500.
Right.
I think there'd be way too many cons. Like, oh yeah, you're like 25, great. You know, you have some respect, but you definitely don't have it all. I mean, that also just carries with how you project yourself to others. But I think that on face value, just like first glance, that is a big part of how people perceive you. And I would want to be, you know, maybe mid 30s before I, you know, capped, and then I lived the rest of the 1,465 years. Any other? Damn, that last one, we were on that one for a while. I mean, we kind of like it destroyed, you know, what we were. My original question. I put some serious time into that, but I'm glad you broke it down.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't like a bad thing.
No, it hurt my feelings, but I'm not gonna say that to you.
Okay, that's fine. I know we're running out of time, but this one was actually really near and dear to my heart. Would you rather travel 30 minutes to Chick-fil-A for dinner, or would you rather cook a lasagna that's already pre-made in your fridge?
This sounds like a personal dilemma that you had to deal with today. Very specific. I love it.
No, we agreed we would do hypotheticals.
This is true. Okay. Oh. And does this have any, impact on like how I'm personally feeling about Italian food or fried chicken sandwiches?
You are hungry and you get off the podcast and you want to go to one of those two routes. What are you feeling?
I'd probably drive the 30 minutes, dude.
Okay. Hey, babe. Jeremy said Chick-fil-A tonight.
Oh,
See, I knew it. Oh my God.
Oh, God. That one was eating me alive.
Well, I think that's all the questions we got.
Okay, no, that I'm supposed to do the transition.
Why
out.
can't
it's really annoying
I
that you're kind of
have
stepping on my
fun?
toes in this one.
This was my idea to have you on my podcast, and I feel like you're trying to mutineer.
Yeah, get him on twice now. It's his podcast.
I had a blast, as always.
Thanks for doing it, buddy.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Unmentionables Cast, your weekly bite-sized dose of nonsense. If you liked the show, tell your friends. And if you didn't, well, recommend us to your adversaries and we'll torture them on your behalf. If you want to get in contact with us, send all questions, comments, concerns, issues, problems, and suggestions to theunmentionablescast@gmail.com. The show will always be free, but if you'd like to support us directly, you can do so at patreon.com/theunmentionables. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, thumbs up, or ring a bell to help pump up those juicy stats for us, and we'll catch you next week.
Fucking trash cans it's a government propaganda. Whatever.